This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
The time is 6:15. Here is the news edited by Anjanata Dangoda, read by Victor Raj. Here are the headlines of the local news. The President approves farmer subsidy for Yala season. The Prime Minister says fisheries sector must increase exports as there is a massive demand for fish in Europe. SJB opposes selling of strategically important state-owned enterprises but warns an end to monopoly. Sri Lanka and Bangladesh to resume talks of bilateral trade deal this month. Finance State Minister says customs duty of 3 rupees for wheat flour removed. Price will not increase. Foreign news, over 50 dead, hundreds hospitalized and 23,000 displaced by ethnic violence in Manipur, India. Sports news, Yupunabe wins his first race of the season. Local news in detail. The Finance Committee and President Ranil Wickremesinghe have approved the proposal presented by Agriculture Minister Mahinda Amaravira, requesting approval to issue a voucher for the farmers to purchase urea fertilizer, MOP, or organic fertilizer according to the farmer's choice for this year's Yala season. The government has decided to provide a subsidy of 20,000 rupees per hectare and 40,000 rupees per 2 hectares for urea and MOP fertilizers in the Yala season. The government is expected to spend 11 billion rupees for this purpose. Agriculture Minister said by using this money, the Agriculture Ministry has made arrangements to allow farmers to buy urea fertilizer, MOP fertilizer or organic fertilizer if they want from the public sector or the private sector without any hindrance. The Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena said there is a growing demand for fish products in Europe as well as in countries including Japan. Sri Lankan fishing sector could cater to that demand by increasing fish production. He added that Sino Foundation, as the largest boat builders in Sri Lanka, could make a major contribution by expanding fiberboard production. Speaking at the 55th anniversary celebration of the Sino Foundation at Sri Lanka Foundation in Colombo today, he said Sri Lanka should use sea resources, including fish, as the future lines in increasing export of new products. SJB parliamentarian Eran Wickremaratne assured that the main opposition was ready with plans and strategies to implement projects for the well-being of the people no sooner it comes to office after an elections due shortly. People of this country are eagerly waiting to oust this government which has no mandate or even proper plan to implement for the country. Speaking at a media conference held at the office of the leader of opposition Sunday, he said that SJB opposes the sale of or privatization of the strategically important state-owned enterprises, such as CEB and Petroleum Corporation, but insists that the monopoly now enjoyed by such state-owned enterprises be brought to an end with private sector participation on a competitive market system. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
Digital accounts can now be opened in 10 minutes. People's Bank Digital Banking, your ultimate convenience.
Continuing with more local news, Sri Lanka and Bangladesh plan to hold an introductory meeting virtually on the 29th of this month to commence negotiations for the proposed preferential trade agreement, which is expected to eventually lead to a free trade agreement. The two parties are expected to finalize dates and venue to hold negotiations on the proposed PTA during this virtual meeting. Veer Singh shared that the two countries are planning to commence negotiations for the proposed PTA with plans to expand it to an FTA eventually. Finance State Minister Ranjit Singh Balapitiya said the customs concession of ₹3 that was imposed on wheat flour has been removed and there will be no change in the price of wheat flour in the retail market. While addressing a meeting in Avisabel today, he said, by reimposing the duty of ₹3 per kilo on wheat flour, which is the main substitute for rice, wheat flour prices will be managed to protect the 90% subsistence level of the paddy farmers. That ends local news.
Now People's Bank Digital Banking enables you to make your pawning payments through People's Bank self-banking unit any time of the day. People's Bank Digital Banking, your ultimate convenience.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Today is the International Thalassemia Day. Be aware, share, care is the theme for this year. On the occasion of Thalassemia Day, an awareness seminar organized by the Caritas Sri Lanka was held at Caritas headquarters today. Reverend Father Luke Nelson, National Director of Caritas, opened the discussion. Dr. Mas Muthutambe shared various awareness points related to thalassemia. Thalassemia affected people identified in Chilo, Batiklo, Kurnagala and Badulla districts participating in the seminar. That ends main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Moving on to Watchlight, the Department of Motor Traffic has decided to blacklist the vehicles that have not obtained revenue license for 5 years and to remove them from the information system of the department. Making a special statement, Motor Traffic Commissioner General Nishanta Anuruddha stated that although 8.3 million vehicles have currently been registered in the Department of Motor Traffic, only 6 million vehicles have been registered through the QR code system. Accordingly, he said, the vehicles which have not obtained revenue license for more than 5 years continuously will be removed from the information system with the help of District Motor Vehicle Inspectors. That came to you on Watchlight. Moving on to world news, let's take a look at the headlines. Over 50 dead, hundreds hospitalized and 23,000 displaced by ethnic violence in Manipur, India. Indian Air Force's MiG-21 crashes in Rajasthan. 2 villagers killed, pilot safe. Vietnam records highest ever temperature of 44.1 Celsius. World news in detail. Dozens of people have been killed in ethnic clashes in the northeastern Indian state of Manipur, with mobs attacking homes, vehicles, churches and temples, officials say. The violence began last week after indigenous communities held a rally to protest against demands by the main ethnic group in the state for the tribal status. Members of the Meitei Committee, who accounts for 53% of the state's population, have been demanding inclusion under the scheduled tribe category for years, which will give them access to forest lands and guarantee them a proportion of government jobs and places in educational institutions. Indian Air Force MiG-21 crashed in Rajasthan's Hanumangarh district on Monday, killing 2 villagers on the spot, the IAF said in a statement. According to local police officers, the pilot has been airlifted. However, the 2 villagers reportedly died in the incident. When the incident took place, 3 women and a man were on the roof of their house in a village, while 2 women died on the spot. The other woman and the man were left injured. Vietnam has recorded its highest ever temperature, just over 44 Celsius, with experts predicting it would soon be surpassed because of climate change. The record was set in the northern province of the Tan Hao, where officials warned people to stay indoors during the hottest times of the day. Other countries in the region have also been experiencing extremely hot weather. Thailand reported a record equaling 44.6 Celsius in its western Mak province. Meanwhile, Myanmar's media reported that a town in the east had recorded 43.8 Celsius, the highest temperature for a decade. Both countries experienced a hot period before the monsoon season, but the intensity of the heat has broken previous records. To wrap up the world news, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Over 50 dead, hundreds hospitalized and 23,000 displaced by ethnic violence in Manipur, India. Indian Air Force's MiG-21 crashes in Rajasthan. 2 villagers killed, pilot safe. Vietnam records highest ever temperature of 44.1 Celsius. That ends world news.
Development news.
The smart remotely controllable ceiling fan regulator is a game-changing product, providing unparalleled convenience to users. This product was first developed by undergraduate student Callum Pereira during his honours degree final year research project, under the supervision of the Professor Sudat Kalinga Mudali. Thereafter, Nuwangi Kure modified the product using Bluetooth technology with a mobile application. This was followed by Dr. Kasun Puma, Supun Gunaratna and Geethanjana Vanigasekara, who further developed it for commercialization. Oral Corporation Private Limited recently entered into a patent license agreement to introduce this cutting-edge product into the market. That was the potential to transform the ceiling fan regulator market and bring about a significant improvement in the quality of life for customers. That ends development news. Moving on to sports news. Sri Lankan sprinter Yupun Abekon kicked off the 2023 season successfully, coming in at first place in the men's 200-meter event at the Firenze Sprint Festival held in Italy yesterday. It was the first race that Yupun took part in this year. Yupun Abekon, who competed in the fifth lane at the event, continued at the pole position from the get-go with a successful start towards the end. He finished with a timing of 20.60 seconds in the 200-meter event to place first. More sports news. Cricket. The Sri Lankan cricket selectors have 15 members emerging squad to take part in the tour to Japan. During the tour, the Sri Lankan emerging team will play 5 T20 games against the Japan national cricket team, which is an associate member of the ICC. That ends sports news.
Go ekaktiana youth ekat life eke change ekat niyameta set wenna as wahagena dakapu hina habe karanna youth ekat niyameta set wenna friendship එක menna.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account. NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business news. Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Fitz Air, Sri Lanka's first private-owned international airline, is proud to announce that it has reached an important milestone by flying more than 50,000 passengers to and from Bandar Naik International Airport since its launch just 6 months ago. This achievement marked a significant milestone in the airline's continued growth, especially since it has only been operating with 3 destinations. Fitz Air launched its international passenger service on October 2022 with a mission to offer affordable and convenient air travel options for everyone. Since then, the airline has experienced a significant increase in demand for its services, primarily due to its focus on affordability and convenience. That ends business news.
Business news. Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go එකක් තියන youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු ගින හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account. NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Economic news, courtesy of
LONC Finance is taking the power of innovation to the next level, winning 5 goals at the Technovation Awards 2022, leading the digital revolution with cutting-edge interbanking digital payments. LONC Finance claims the overall gold award whilst also claiming an extraordinary victory in digital banking.
Sri Lanka shares edge up in midday trade on Monday. Colombo Stock Exchange data showed the main all-share price index was up 0.82% or 72.32 points to 8,902.68, while S&P SL20 was up 0.87% to 22.36 points to 2,581.03. The market generated a turnover of 493 million rupees at 12 hours. That ends economic news.
LONC Finance is taking the power of innovation to the next level, winning 5 goals at the Technovation Awards 2022, leading the digital revolution with cutting-edge interbanking digital payments. LONC Finance claims the overall gold award whilst also claiming an extraordinary victory in digital banking.
Weather report.
Meteorology Department says showers or thundershowers will occur at times in western, Sabragamo, central, northwestern and southern provinces. Several spells of showers will occur in northern province and in Trincomalee district. Showers or thundershowers will occur at several places elsewhere over the island, particularly during the afternoon or night. Strong winds, about 40 to 45 km, can be expected at times over western and southern coastal areas and along the western slopes of the central hills. General public is kindly requested to take adequate precautions to minimize damages caused by the temporary localized strong winds and lightning during thundershowers. That ends weather report. To wrap up the evening news on Radio Sri Lanka, let's take a look at the headlines once again. The President approves farmers' subsidy for Yala season. The Prime Minister says fisheries sector must increase exports as there is a massive demand for fish in Europe. SJB opposes selling of strategically important state-owned enterprises but wants an end to monopoly. Sri Lanka and Bangladesh to resume talks for bilateral trade deal this month. Finance State Minister says customs duty of 3 rupees for wheat flour removed. Price will not increase. Foreign news. Over 50 dead, hundreds hospitalized and 23,000 displaced by ethnic violence in Manipur, India. Sports news. Yupun Abekon wins his first race of the season. With that, we wrap up the evening news on Radio Sri Lanka.